So there's a lot of questions that young barbers are asking, and it's difficult, man, because we're in a pandemic now. So I thought, look, let's ask Jordan, man. You know, he's a barber and he's new to the game. So let's, he'll be the voice of the young people, and I'll answer the questions as best as I can. I know right now to build a clientele as a young barber is a bit difficult, and I don't know what else to do but to just make this type of content. So we kind of share it with you in this way. Jordan, let's hear your questions, because I know there's one question that I commonly get, and if you don't ask it, and then, well, if you ask it, I'll answer it, but if you don't ask it, then I'll throw that question in anyway. So I'll first let you do your questions. You can play.
So my first question is, what makes you a good barber?
Like, how important is that question really, man?
It's very important.
Is it?
It's very important.
Like, what makes you a good barber? Like, as a young barber, do you have idols? Do you have like barbers that are your like, oh, I would like to be like this guy one day?
Not really.
So then how important is that question about what makes you a good barber? But I'll answer the question for you. I'll still do it. Right. So what makes you a good barber, I suppose, is I'm gonna answer it in two parts.
Okay.
How you get to the point where you're a good barber, and what validation I think makes me a good barber. Do you know what I mean? So consistency, and discipline and all of that is going to get you to the point where you are a good barber.
Yes.
But the only validation for me for being a good barber is the people that cut their hair by you. You understand? Your client base validates how good you are as a barber. True. If that makes any sense.
True. I understand now.
Next question.
My next question is,
you can check on your phone. You write down your questions.
Actually, don't have to.
Did you write down your questions?
Yeah, I wrote
okay,
down.
Now go on.
In terms of building yourself up, what do you think as a barber, obviously, what do you think would be the focal point out of these two options, personality or your skill? So
personality can't be taught. So you can't build your personality. That is your character. It is your development as a human being. That's got very little to do with barbering. Do you understand? It's you're a people's person, or you develop the ability to be with people, and those character traits will show forth in your personality. Do you understand? So I don't know if that makes any sense, but your skill is something that you can be taught. This is something that you can work on. So the things that you have control of is improving your skill. Next question.
Next question.
Does that help? Does it help? Like, because personality can't be taught. I can't teach you personality. I can't give you that vuma or that gees, or I can't teach that. Do you understand? It's either something that you develop on your own, but skill I can teach you, because nobody's born with the ability to cut. So that I can teach you, but I can't teach you to be a human being.
Yeah, understand.
Next question.
Next question.
I'm getting thirsty also, by the way. And it's hot in here. Right, next question.
Is it better working by yourself or with a team?
I can only speak about my experience. Right, so working in a team, well, both has its pros and cons, right? But working by yourself versus working in a team, the growth potential or the speed on which you grow is much more when you're in a team, because you're constantly challenged. When you work on your own, then it's only you. You can't measure your growth against anything because there's nobody else next to you. But when you're working in a team, you are constantly pushing yourself because you have to, because there's a whole team of barbers. So your potential or your growth is accelerated in a team. And you learn from different mentors simultaneously, which also speeds up the growth, if that makes any sense. Because when you're working on your own and you do have a mentor, in terms of you maybe go and shadow one barber every week, you have that same experience but compressed, because you've got 4 or 5 barbers in one shop that you're learning in one day from 4 or 5 people, versus you having to spread that out over time. So working in a team for a young barber will always be a faster growth than working on your own. It's also much healthier for you to work in a team versus working on your own. You see, when you work on your own, you kind of develop this stagnation, or you get to a point where you feel this is as far as I can grow. because your customers, the feedback you're getting from your clientele is saying, wow, you're amazing, all of that. But when you're in a team, you grow to levels that you didn't think you could reach.
True, yes.
Because there's just much more mentors in one space. Does that make any sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay, next question.
Sorry.
Next one.
I don't actually think I have another question.
That was only 3 questions.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna ask that question. So if you are, like for me, who doesn't really know how to, I would say, keep a conversation with a person, because I'm not very clued up with most things, but
like as a new barber, how do you keep up with conversation? Read a lot, get as much information as you possibly can, because it's only that knowledge that makes you relevant. You understand? You can't talk about things that you don't know of, and the only way you know is by researching and reading and staying up to date. I mean, lately I don't want to read the news, and I don't want to watch the news, and I quite honestly, I don't even want to watch football right now. But my clients are, those are things that connects us in terms of just connecting pieces for conversation or conversation starters and those type of things. So as a young barber, you need to read as much as you can. You need to research as much as you can. In that same time, you are developing who you are and your beliefs and your logic and the way you take in information, accept information, and then obviously choose to regurgitate that information. So this is a development phase on how to hold those conversations. And if you don't know about something, the simple thing is then just don't talk about it, because I don't have an opinion on that. I often am afraid that because I'm so opinionated, that my opinion offends other people. You understand? But I'm also very direct, so I also must say, you don't want my opinion on that.
Yeah. Because
yeah, ultimately, bruh, you don't want my opinion on that. Next question. Rather just move on. Let's talk about the weather, or let's talk about. You don't want my opinion on whatever said topic is. Doesn't work.
I understand that.
Is that your questions?
I was actually going to ask another question, but
okay,
I think you answered it.
What's the question?
Okay, I'll ask it anyway.
Yeah,
the question is going to be, how do you attract newer people?
How do you attract new clients?
How do you attract new clients, yeah.
I think this is something we should do in another segment, not in this segment. But attracting new clients to your chair as a young barber, you must understand, like for me, I have to go back now like 20 years and all of that. But it's marketing, you understand? It's really defining who it is that you want in your chair. So that is you choosing your client. So which means you have to then, you have to invite those people to come and try out your haircut, because I would like to cut this person's hair, or that's my particular market. Like for example, I'm not busy enough in the afternoons, I want to do a bit of school kids and whatever. Then you have to go give out flyers or whatever at the schools. But those things we can't do right now. Why?
Because
we're in a pandemic. So growing business right now is limited to a digital platform. So you have to be on Instagram, you have to be on whatever social media platform there is. I see the conversation is going towards social media. I am not going to deliberate on the WhatsApp saga of moving from WhatsApp to Telegram or whatever the case may be. I'm not going to deliberate on that. I'm going to make a separate video on that. What's it? Hashtag bring back mix it. Hashtag bring back mix it, man.
That is way better.
Anyway, let's go home.